Hey, what's good, everybody? So, I guess before I go any further, if you like these stories, please don't forget to subscribe, like, all that good stuff. You guys already know. I never say that in my video, so I was like, you know what? Maybe I should start saying, don't forget to subscribe, right? So, anyways, this one's gonna be about union versus non-union. So, one of the reasons I make a lot of these videos is because I've actually experienced things. Like I just did the jury duty video before this one. Oh, my dogs. Okay, hopefully they stop barking. So, anyways, I've experienced a lot of things, and sometimes I'll see people making videos about things, and then they'll say, "Oh, I haven't really experienced this, but," and I'm just like, boom. I'm mind blown that people make videos about stuff they know nothing about, right? So it's just like reading or this or that, and so they put together these videos. So at least the videos I make, aside from the fun facts, like the guy with the most wives or whatever, or most kids, or that's a good idea. I should make that video next. Or what do you call it? I shouldn't have said that because I really am gonna make that video, so no one takes that from me. So anyways, aside from like the little fun facts, like my music industry experience, it was actually for me, not someone just like, oh, like, do they really sacrifice people and all this crazy stuff? I haven't seen it, I wouldn't doubt it, but I haven't seen it, so I won't make a video about that. You know what I mean? I shared like my other kind of crazy music industry experiences, and I plan to make one about my acting experiences, all that stuff, right? So so blah blah, all that to say, okay, so union versus non-union. So anyways, my first experience was I was working at this warehouse, right? It was actually Office Depot. It was Office Depot, but what do you call it? It was Office Depot, but a cross dock, right? So everything came to us, and then it went to the stores, right? To Hawaii, to here, to there, to, all the states, whatever. So, it was a cross dock. Because when I would tell people, they thought, like, what? The store? I'm like, no, it's just the warehouse. Like, everything that came in that day left that day. So, sometimes we had to, man, I forgot what the word is called, but, while troubleshooting, right? Like, if there were any packages left over, that means someone got the wrong thing and this and that. Sometimes we try to find what pallet someone messed up on, if it hadn't been loaded onto the trucks yet, so sometimes at the end there'd be troubleshooting because nothing was supposed to be left. Like, in the morning, someone will come, like the, shipping and receiving, they'll come, pull out all the, pallets of stuff, line it up, and then we'd go around order pulling, build pallets for the stores, and okay, all these supplies, paper and this and that and printers or whatever, we're going to this store, all that's going to this store. So we'll line them up, they'll load them up on the trucks, and that's how it would go, right? Just a quick little summary. So anyways, I started working there, and within a week I got a raise, like almost $1 raise. And then I soon found out it was because they were already seeing it. Someone was trying to bring the union in. So, when I was there, I hadn't had any experience with union. It was really my first warehouse job like that. And so, my brother already worked for UPS, which was union. And my dad, he worked for a company for, he worked for that company, I don't know, 30, 40 years till he retired. Now, but then I don't know how long he had been there. And so, he didn't like the union, right? He said they tried to put the union in once where he worked, and they didn't want it, and they voted against it, right? So he was comfortable with it was one of those things. Like I noticed that the older generations, they didn't like change too much. They kind of like, if things are the way they are, just let them be. My brother had already experienced union, so he was telling me all the good things about it, right? So sure enough, someone was trying to bring in the union there to the Office Depot warehouse, cross dock. And so, they started, like, these guys flew in from like New York or something, or wherever the headquarters was from from Office Depot, right? And they even showed us videos on the union was tied in with the mob or all this old stuff, right? They were like really trying to scare us into, okay, the union's evil. So, but then it was, there was the other part that kind of got me, was that they started bringing us, like, for those of you that are from the West Coast know what In and Out is. They would bring us, the truck to bring us In and Out. Like in the summer, like the ice cream, right? Like they would be bringing the paletero man and bring them inside to give us all whatever ice cream we wanted. Like, it was crazy. They were constantly giving us all these things, and so it seemed very much like a bribe, right? They were trying to buy us, but I already knew like what there's a phone ringing, but okay. So anyways, I already knew what, like, kind of like where my mind was at, because my brother, after what he told me about the union, I agreed that the union was a good thing, right? So, I was okay. My mind was pretty much made up that I was gonna vote union. And there was only maybe 120 workers, something like that. It wasn't a whole lot. And so, what ended up happening was that, well, I don't even think all the management counted. So maybe there were like 100 workers, right? So anyways, by the end of it, it was like maybe 30 something voted yes in favor of the union. And then, the other 70 voted against the union. So the union didn't end up passing, right? But, like I was saying before that, they were really trying to kind of like buy us stuff. They brought in these guys from New York. And it was funny. The two main guys, they both had these huge heads. To this day, I've never seen people with heads that big, right? It seemed like weird. Now that everyone's all talking about UFOs and this and that, like if they say they're amongst us, like that's who I would have looked at. Like, they look so odd. Like, both of the guys that were here trying to convince us, like the corporate guys, like one, with like a white guy, the other one looked, more like a Mexican guy. Because it was predominantly like, probably the biggest amount of people that were like, people from whatever, Latin, Hispanic, if you want to call it that, right? Like, in that warehouse, right? But it was a mix of everything, but just like, that was probably, so I don't know, they brought him to try to like, to relate or something, who knows? But it was funny, just the size of their heads. To this day, I've never seen people, with heads that big, right? It was crazy. So anyways, so all that happened. Finally, we voted. It didn't pass. Sure enough, slowly but surely, they got rid of everybody, right? It was like, it was a cool, everyone got along. People were playful, you know what I mean? Like, it was nothing but guys, really. I don't think there was one woman working, it was heavy work. We'd lift, sometimes there were furniture pieces, the paper was like really heavy. Like when you're loading like, 40 packages of, paper for this store or that, and they're like, I don't know, maybe 20 pounds each. So just the constant thing of, lifting these heavy things, but anyway, so, we'd play around sometimes. Sometimes, someone would throw a piece of paper at someone. So they even fired a guy for throwing a piece of paper at someone. Oh, you could have taken out his eye or whatever. But they knew that he had voted for the union. See, so they slowly started, boom, just dropping like flies. They were firing everyone that they already knew were pretty open about voting for the union, right? And then it became very uncomfortable for everybody. There was like mandatory 12 hours. Before we would just, do our 8-9 hours and boom, that's it, we're gone. Usually it wouldn't be any overtime. And so, it was like that, mandatory 12 hours. Now you got to work weekends, now this and that. Everyone was really upset, like, hey, I haven't seen my family, what's going on, this and that. I was, I think 18, so I was very, and I was going to school already. I had, I was going full time, so I'd get right out of work and then go to school. So I would just leave. I thought it was against the law. I thought they couldn't make you. And so I would just leave. I'd be waving to the manager on the way out. No one ever fired me, right? So, and everyone would be like, hey, how come they let you leave? And I just said, well, I got to go to school. So I think they thought they just let me leave because I had to go to school. But I never even asked. I just would leave Cause I was young and I didn't really care. I was like, when you're young, you don't care if you get fired or what. It's like what are they gonna do? I gotta go to school. So I would just leave, and everybody else would be like, oh man, like, I haven't seen my family, this and that. But then everyone regretted not voting for the union, right? Because the union would have, you would have had a voice, something like, hey, we can't be giving us mandatory 12 hours. You can't make us work on the weekend too, and this and that. So, so that was my first experience, right? When the union didn't pass, everyone regretted it, right? It's interesting now because all the Amazon stuff that's going on. I think that's what made me think of all this. I don't know if I said that at the beginning of the video. But, all the stuff that happened, how they were trying to unionize at Amazon and it didn't work. And I feel bad for whoever convinced everybody to not vote union because, I'm sure either they regret it or, I see things just keep getting worse at Amazon. So anyways, now I'm going to talk about working union. So when I was at UPS, it was union. And so, that's one of the things they try to scare you with too. Oh, you're going to have to pay union dues and da-da-da-da. And it's nothing. It's worth it. The amount of more money you get, the more help you get that's available to you. So when I was at UPS, I was always outspoken. So I spoke up when I had a problem with somebody. Like even management. Like there was one time when a manager kind of tapped me. And we happened to be having a meeting. So I walked up to the manager. I waited. The meeting was over. And I told him, hey, come here. Let me talk to you. And I told him, I was like, don't you ever touch me. Like, where I come from, like you touch somebody like that, there's nothing. Like that, it's on. Like there's no. And he was like, and I was like, all right, this is, that's fine. We're good. But by the time I walked inside, he had told every manager, was like, hey, how come you were going to beat up so-and-so? I was like, hey, we already talked about it. Like, men, that's it. It's done, right? But that's how I was, right? I was very confrontational. Like, because I think he touched me like that, like with the back of his hand. And I was like, you don't touch another grown man, with the back of your hand. That's like non-negotiable, right? Like you don't. And so I had to pull him, I went, I spoke to him, and I was like, hey, you don't do that, right? And so whatever, he never did it again, right? So that kind of stuff. I never really had to use the union until I was on jury duty. And I kind of mentioned it briefly in my jury duty video that I got on jury duty, I got on a case, and then I told the manager, I was like, hey, you want me to, I hadn't gotten on jury duty. That was the first time I got on a trial, right? So I was like, hey, you want me to call you every day? You want me to just come in when the whole trial's over? What do you want me to do? And then he was like, yeah, just come when the whole trial's over. All right, cool. So he didn't want me to call. He didn't want me nothing. Just come back. He's like, how long do you think it'll be? I was like, I don't know. They last sometimes a week, sometimes whatever. Okay, cool. So then, I'm all happy going to jury duty. Next thing you know, a week goes by, and then he calls to wait. I was sleeping in at that time, so I'm happy. He calls me up to wake me up. Hey, how come you're not at work? And I'm like, I'm on jury duty. Yeah, but you said it was going to be like a week. I said, I don't know how long. It's jury. Like, what am I going to tell the judge? Like, hurry up, or, like, I was told you I didn't really know. Like, who knows? Nobody knows how long. It could be a celebrity case or whatever. Nobody knows how long a trial's gonna last, right? So anyways, he's like, okay, well, you need to get over here right now. I was like, yeah, I'm on jury duty. He's also, so are you coming? I was like, no, I'm not going nowhere. I was like, don't be don't be surprised if you don't have a job after or whatever. And I was like, all right. And then so he's like, are you coming? I said, no. And then so he hangs up on me all mad, right? But we're kind of going back and forth. I was like, so as soon as, I get to the jury duty thing, and then, I call the union. I was like, hey, this guy was threatening my job, this guy. And then, the union rep, he's like, don't worry about it. Don't call him no more. Don't nothing. You stay on your jury duty. We got this. Cool. I show up back to work after the whole trial was over. He pulls me in his office. I was like, hey, do I need my union rep? No, this isn't disciplinary. Okay, cool. Pulls me in, closes the door. I can't believe you called the union on me. They've been after me. And I just start smiling like, wow, like this guy's whole tone had changed, right? I can't. And then I'm just smiling, and he looks at me. I could see even now you have no compassion. You have no sympathy. And I'm like, what? I mean, I start smiling even more. Like, dude, you told me, like, I wasn't going to have a job. You told me all this and that. I called the union. Now you're over here crying. So I started seeing how like the union works. So I started utilizing the union, For those that don't know, like, now I do acting stuff, right? So I was non-union for a long time. And see, when it comes to the acting world, non-union is like a steady job, right? You have the work available. But then union, it's just the treatment's better. I'm not going to lie. The treatment's better. There's certain, you have the union backing you. So I've only had to file a claim on certain things, where they didn't pay me for a job. So you file with the union, you get your money, and you get, on top of that, penalties for what they didn't, pay you on time. So there's, even with that, the whole acting world, like, for me, it was a no-brainer. Like, a lot of people are against, they don't want to be union because, but I'll come from that blue-collar work of using the union, right? Like, hey, I'm a union member. I pay my union dues. I was a Teamster. So, you use the union. Like, that's what you're paying your dues for. Like, so you better, hey, this person's bugging me. You better, handle, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was my experiences, right? So non-union versus union. Some people get scared of it because the propaganda is pretty good to scare you to not be union. But in my experience, the union works. It's just having that big voice, like having a big brother, kind of a little bodyguard, something that has your back. Oh, I'll tell you this, even that, right? After a while, like at UPS, then I went management. And once you go management, you get out of the union. So, even that, there were some workers. See, that's where it was kind of on the flip side. There were some workers that were so horrible that it was practically impossible to get rid of them because the union had their back. So in those cases, it kind of sucked because sometimes, the good workers had to pick up the slack for them and this and that. But, I guess I might as well be fair, right, and share both sides of that. So that was only times that I saw the union. But for a worker, is it worth it? Yes. For management, it sucked because, yeah, then it was hard to get rid of. There were horrible workers, like people that would be late and this and that. And I don't know, like the union was just good at, because then it goes up to, I was a supervisor, and then the higher management kind of had to deal with that. And somehow they wouldn't fire these people. And I would get frustrated because I'd be like, dude, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. This person should be fired because, they're garbage. Really, like, there's no excuse. So, I mean, there was a person once, I don't think they weren't my direct employee, right? They were still there. But they weren't on my line that I used to supervise. And they had like over 100 lates. And I just thought, like, that's impossible. Like, how could anyone... I got fired for being late once from a job. Like, how can you, like, no way. But see, the union protects you, man. So that's the union versus non-union. There's a lot of, this isn't an excuse to go be a horrible worker or nothing. I'm just saying, like if you are ever at a company and, like Amazon, damn, like union versus non-union, like, union's a lot different. I even worked at FedEx that was non-union. And I didn't like the treatment was pretty bad. It was pretty horrible compared to UPS. UPS wasn't like, oh, all beautiful and this and that. But FedEx, you didn't have that union thing, and it showed, right? When I was working there. I mean, it probably changed. It could have changed from then to now. Okay, so the camera got too hot again for this video. I guess because I had so much to say or whatever. But anyways, so yeah, just to end it, yeah, that was my experiences with the whole union versus non-union. Just, if you guys come across that, at least from someone that's experienced it. For me, I would never really be against union, right? I get it, the dues, this, that, whatever little things people don't like about it. For me, I have no problem with working union, right? Versus not being union. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope that was informative in some way. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. But yeah, more importantly, let me know in the comments if you guys have experienced anything like that, or if you guys are going through that right now, that choice of, you know, someone's trying to bring in the union, you don't know which way to vote and all this and that. All right, that's it. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Peace.
Yo, I woke up this morning feeling like I'm the greatest alive.
Baby, don't you know you're the greatest?
You're the greatest, baby.
And you will never, never be alone, no. And if you ever start to feel you're worthless,
You ain't worthless.
I'm gonna sing it to you time and time again. Oh,
It's
you're
all
the
about dreams,
greatest.
dream, the pursuit of happiness. I struggled all my life just to see what happy is. But ain't no lie, girl, I can